Hello, my friends. It was an event like this in November in Lipperswil. This is a small town in Switzerland when I had a conversation with God. But before I share what He talked to me and what I said to Him, I would like to read you a Bible verse from John 8, verse 31 and 32. There it says, "If you abide in my words, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And my talk with Jesus, was about truth. So Lipperswil, as I mentioned, is a small town, and when the children were little, Simon was about 2 years, Stefan was just an infant, I was pushing him in a pram. We were at a fun park for children in Lipperswil. This was about 18 years ago. And in November 2018, I was preparing for Ladies Lounge, and therefore I took some time away from home, and I found myself in a place in Lipperswil, and I had my 1 hour walk, and there I was sitting on a bench like this, like I just mentioned. And I was sitting there, the sun was shining to my face, I closed my eyes and I just relaxed one day before our Ladies Lounge conference. The Ladies Lounge conference is always a high peak in my year, and I love it, but it's a lot of work and also a lot of leading included. So I was sitting on that bench, and because I was walking my 1 hour walk and passed by that fun park we used to go 18 years before, I started to remember, and I had that picture in mind of Simon, who was a small child, and how beautiful it was, and I started longing to be as I was back then, without responsibilities for church, without the Ladies Lounge just ahead of me. And maybe you know these thoughts. You're longing for stuff that used to be because you don't like, or you feel nervous about what is coming. So I imagined how beautiful it was back then, just with the small children, with no responsibility, when all of a sudden Jesus came into my mind and asked me, "Where are you now?" I said, "Right now, I am sitting on a beautiful bench enjoying the sun." And then he asked me, "What do you think back then would look the next day like? Maybe you have had a night without sleep because of small children, and can you imagine how it was when you had to stand back then, when the children were on the playground and you had to stand there, and it was so annoying, and it was not less stressful with small children. You have only the beautiful things in mind, but actually maybe," he said, "it wasn't that beautiful." And all of a sudden I realized that I have a picture in mind and a memory in mind that is not the truth. And Jesus said, "The truth will set you free." And the truth was, right now I was sitting on a beautiful bench enjoying the sun, even though the next day Ladies Lounge was coming and it was challenging for me. But nevertheless, right now I was sitting on a beautiful bench, and Jesus says, "The truth will set you free." And I realized the devil, he is an excellent painter. He always knows how to paint pictures that are not the truth. How to paint pictures like it used to be, but it wasn't that way. It's just in my mind like that. It was just in my mind like that. And he is an excellent painter. He also painted in the paradise when Adam and Eve were there. He asked them the question, "Is it possible that God forbade you to eat from this fruit?" So he opened a whole picture. And then Eve answered, she said, "No, just from that tree we are not allowed." And then she had not the whole picture in mind, but just the tree that was forbidden. And then the devil the snake continued to paint a picture that was not truth. because he said, oh, that's only because you would be like God if you eat from that tree. So he was an excellent painter back then, and he is an excellent painter also in our lives, because he paints pictures that are not true. And my question today is, maybe in your relationship, maybe at job, maybe in your everyday life, is it possible that you should ask God to tell you the truth? Because the devil is a great painter. And Jesus says, only the truth will set you free. And maybe you wish yourself to be free from a certain situation, then ask Him to just reveal you the truth. Bye bye. See you next time.